Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. Now, it's not very often this happens. We're actually in day 2 of covering update 1.26. Yesterday, if you joined me, I covered as much as I could. I covered all the base events, some gameplay of all the new cars, and all that kind of good stuff, as well as how to sell your cars and stuff. Now, it's going to be a bit of a slower kind of, I guess, bringing of content today. Obviously, we've got only a little few things to cover, really. Mainly the one-off special events, as well as, you know, over the next few days bringing you the car reviews, and then later on today I'm going to do my overall opinion of update 1.26. So yeah, I mean, here you're going to be seeing the special event. This is the Spa one for the 25th anniversary. I believe it's one of the manufacturer events, and it's absolutely awesome. Really had a good time doing this. Such a good event, and yeah, it even has leaderboards, so you know, very positive about this one. Now, where you're going to find it is on the 25th anniversary banner. You just go ahead and enter it here. As you can see, you can earn up to 1.8 million in around about 25 to 30 minutes max. What I really like about this, though, is that you actually get the official Gran Turismo manufacturer liveries to choose from, as well as, well, taking your pick of the manufacturers. I absolutely love the BRZ, by the way. Beautiful looking livery on that car, but we are going to go with the Toyota Supra for this event. So I can't really just do an overall guide for this because it's a very dynamic event. It will change each time you play it. Now, I did have a bit of a mix-up with the final, with the first time I did it, sorry, and it didn't kind of work too well. I went for a double soft sprint, where I kind of went to the halfway point on softs. Yes, they were kind of worn, but we got through it, and then the rain came down in the last lap when I thought I was just about to make it to the finish and completely wiped me out. So that caused a restart and caused me to kind of change up my strategy, and the rain, well, it came very early. In terms of my strategy for this one, I went on the mediums to begin with, and well, I didn't really expect any rain. At this point I'm kind of going off the assumption that it's kind of set in stone. Turns out it's not. So as you're going to see, I'm just pretty much running a lean power mode, trying to get to around about lap 7 on the mediums, and obviously the fuel consumption and stuff, and then it will give me like sort of less chance to less time filling up in the pits, go on to a sprint on these softs. However, the rain had other ideas. As you can see, we've made ourselves up into P11, almost P10 by lap 2, so we're not doing too bad to say we're kind of absolutely nerfing the power of this engine. I'm trying to go for another kind of slow burner strategy where, you know, your kind of faster plan comes in at the end, or you try and, you know, out pit the cars by doing less pit stops. Obviously more time spent on track is better than, you know, more time spent in the pits. So by the end of lap 2, we're actually in P10. However, we can see a massive amount of rain coming our way. Now, I'm hoping I can get through this one lap before the rain kind of absolutely comes. At this point, I'm hoping to be one of the only cars that get, you know, with being so far back, that I enter the pit lane. It's looking like it's going to kind of hit as I get to the mid to, you know, last part of the track. And I was pretty much spot on with that prediction. As you can see, we're up in P8, and the rain's starting to come down as we go into the last part of the track. Now, it's a bit difficult around here, and I don't really want to get too caught out with the rain in the more kind of twisty sections. There's a lot of runoff areas where there's just gravel to catch, and if you get stuck in there in the rain, you're spending a ton of time trying to get going again. Now, as we approach the kind of final chicane at Spa, you can see that the rain is just a bit too much at this point. All cars going off. We try and get going again, and we just spin it up too much. Obviously, Fuel Mix 6 coming in handy here because obviously I'm running less power. It's less likely to just kind of throw the car around when you put the power down. Now, I don't know if this Porsche was meant to go in the pits. I'm going to assume it was, but we are going to eventually get in the pits, as well as 2 other competitors. So at this point, there's only going to be 4 cars that are going to be out in the rain on wet tyres, and with the look of the kind of weather formation coming in, it was a good idea to go on full wets. It's looking like it's going to stay around for quite a long time. The weather not really moving too quick in this event, so if you do see a lot of rain, you can bet it's staying in for at least a good few laps. So we're going to go onto the wet tyres, obviously, and we're going to fill the car to full. Now, it does say that I can go to the end of my current strategy, but just by filling up to that little diamond, I usually ignore that because most of the time it's just slightly off, and I do not want to be caught out with low fuel mode and kind of travelling at like 80 miles an hour everywhere right at the end of the race. As you can see, the rain almost entirely covering a 50-mile radius on the map at that point. So, yeah, if we do get underway again, and we are currently sat behind that Porsche which pitted in front of us, And we're going to quite quickly catch up to the people that are still on dry tyres. The car's just all over the place. As you can see, that Lexus getting very squirrely on the exit of that corner. The Porsche even in front of us, I'm pretty sure he was on the wet compound as well. Again, just not getting the drive out. And then as you can see, all these sitting ducks here, including the Mazda there, we're going to end up going into the back of him, just kind of catching me off guard. The grip just not quite there. We're not quite got the heat into the tyres yet. But we do manage to get through, as well as the Porsche behind us. So we're currently now the leading car on wet tyres. At this point, we should realistically be able to take the entire grid on this lap. I know the gap was like massive at first, but we don't need to worry about that too much. Obviously, these cars are going to be sliding everywhere. As you can see, the I believe that's an AMG just in front of us, getting in a collision with an NSX, and we're just going to try and keep it nice and steady on the outside. The Porsche does get caught up there, so this is going to allow us to just gain a bit of time on the second of the wet runners. And then up here we can see just a bunch of more cars on the dry compound, just struggling to get any power down. They'll probably be aquaplaning all over the place. I believe this Beetle in a minute is actually going to slip and slide off. You can see the BMW getting sideways, yeah, and then the Volkswagen Beetle does fully slide off and into the barrier. So at this point, you know, we're pretty safe. We've just got to keep it as steady as possible. We're going to keep the power down so we don't spin up by putting too much power down. As you can see, even on the wet tyres, the car just shifting about everywhere. So it's all basically playing the long game at this point. Eventually the AI does get into pit, but at this point we're already a minute into our next lap at that point. So yeah, we've got a pretty big advantage. As you can see, the car behind us is already 13 seconds back as the wet weather kind of subsides and we can, you know, start thinking about going on to dries. Now I know it's mainly intermediate here, but the rest of the track is pretty much dry enough for dries, so we're going to go and do that. We're going to put a set of softs on. Obviously we are risking doing a late pit stop, but the wets at this point are just not got the grip. They're not the ideal tyre to be on, so you know, I'm pretty much costing myself a ton of time just riding around on them. So the AI may or may not pit. I was kind of hoping they would, but I believe the Porsche that has been behind us for the majority of this race didn't actually pit. So we're going to go onto the softs and just go for our last minute sprint. We're going to fill the car a little bit more, and we're going to boot that engine up as much as possible, just to do a couple of, you know, really fast laps and you know, try and push the car as fast as possible, and hopefully we can get this gap to this Porsche down as much as possible. Obviously I found that the wets were just absolutely, you know, very, very slow at that point, very kind of squirrely. So again, we've gone onto the dry compound. As you can see, it's going to pay off. We are going to manage to get the move done on the Porsche, which is staying out on the wet compound. I believe it didn't pit again at all. So yes, we took the risk and it did pay off, thankfully. So on lap 9 we've already, you know, put that gap down and retook the lead. As you can see, by the time we come around the final corner, we're over 15 seconds ahead and we are taking the win for this event. So, you know, gold medal, it's obviously a one-time thing, kind of like your missions and stuff, but we are going to earn 1.8 million by winning this event. Yes, it's one time, but it's a nice little boost to your credits. Now, one thing I really love about this event is the fact it has leaderboards. Now, obviously, it's a bit difficult to judge because, you know, the weather's so dynamic and such that it's actually, you know, I'm one of the last first place ones here. So it's kind of, you know, down to your luck how you get on the leaderboard here. You can repeat it and try and move yourself up and down and such. But yeah, as you can see, we've got the 1.8 million, 86.7 miles we did on our trek round Spa. Absolutely loved this event. I probably will go back and try and get myself up them as leaderboards, try and get a, you know, more, you know, I guess ideal run on dry tyres and such. So, you know, honestly, these kind of events, there is the other one, the Pikes Peak, which I will be covering today as well. I just hope Gran Turismo see a lot of positive feedback from these and, you know, kind of do this more often, you know, more limited time events where, you know, it gives us a nice little credit boost but gives us a bit of competition on the leaderboards. I honestly feel like things like these have been really well received, and I hope to God they continue, you know, pushing forward with these kind of events, putting them on, even if we're not getting full-blown missions, just a couple of time-limited events for like a month or so just seem to work very well. It really does kind of suit Gran Turismo, and it's pretty good to sort of relive the World Series events but do them against AI and stuff. Look, not everybody's, you know, a multiplayer player. Me, I'm a mixture of both, but I really enjoy the single player content in this game, and it is great to see events like this in the game. So that's going to be it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn those notifications on so you don't miss an upload from me. I upload GT7 content each and every day. Check down in the description for my Discord, Twitter and all that good stuff, and I'll see you all later. Take care, guys. Peace.